Hello and welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. I'm Isabelle and I help you understand the stars so you can feel more clarity and control over your life. Now, before I dive into today's video, book your one-on-one 1-hour astrology reading with me in the link in the description below, where we dive into any and everything, including your career based off your astrology, which is what I'm here to talk about today. This is frankly my favorite topic to talk about when it comes to astrology, because a lot of people, including myself, when they get into astrology, they look at all the data. I was looking into every and any aspect in my chart. I was looking into every asteroid, just acquiring the information and frankly doing nothing with it. And the gift of astrology is that it is very subjectively interpreted based on its application. So oftentimes I'll get people in readings who start off with just saying, just tell me everything. I want to hear what you have to say, which is great. However, we really get into the beauty and the benefit that can be reaped from astrology by looking at it from a point of view of attaining something, which I know sounds very selfish to say that the biggest benefit in astrology is how you use it, but it's true. And one of the best ways I find, and one of my favorite ways to use astrology, has been for career. So in this video, I'm going to cover how you can unlock the perfect career using astrology. And in this, I will also talk about not only career path ideas, I will also be talking about how to start a business, entrepreneurship based off of those astrology aspects, and what kind of branding you should be doing for yourself, and what your strengths are going to be in how you should work and what you should use as a service to others. So let's dive in. Every aspect and planetary placement or asteroid placement or point in your chart can be applied to your career, because every part of yourself plays a role in your career. For example, just in reality sense, your relationship and the health of your relationship will dictate how well you can show up in your career, and vice versa. A stressor in one area of life or a lack of fulfillment in one area of life can cause dis-ease in another area of your life. But as far as career astrology goes, when I'm in a reading and people ask me, how can I find the perfect career? What should I be doing in my career? How can I manifest more money or make more money in my career? There are a few aspects that I pay attention to first. And that is your North Node, your Mercury, your Mars, your Jupiter, and your part of fortune, as well as your 10th house. Checking my notes to make sure I didn't forget any. Yep, that's the main ones I focus on. Your North Node is your highest path to growth in this lifetime. Now, this airs more towards the side of purpose. Your North Node is your purpose in this lifetime. And your purpose, frankly, as far as I believe from observing astrology, personality types, and living life, is your purpose is to embrace fully who you are in the highest vibration so you can inspire others to embrace their own gifts and their own highest vibration. So parts of you will be inspiration to others, and so you have to embrace yourself to the fullest. The North Node is both in a sign and a house, just as every planet and point is in your chart. And in astrology, your North Node is your highest path to growth in this lifetime. It is opposing the South Node. The North and South Node are always opposite of each other. So if the North Node is our highest path to growth in this lifetime, the South Node is our comfort zone. It is what we're naturally gifted and talented at. And the South Node can actually play a huge role in what you should be doing in your career. For example, I have a South Node in Scorpio in my 11th house, which means I'm really good at investigating complex subjects and gaining information out of it. I am someone who's very focused on intimate connection as well, but this can be a gift for me in my 11th house of big visions and community. So the more I connect with the community and share my knowledge and be one-on-one connected with people, that can bring me energy to channel into my North Node. As I said, your North Node is your purpose. And so if you're looking for a sense of purpose, first look to your North Node in the house it's in. If you have a North Node in 10th house, your path to growth and your purpose is very tied into your career. However, Career and purpose are not the same thing. They do go hand in hand, but they are not the same. If you have, for example, like me, a North Node in my 5th house, a lot of my purpose is not going to come from my career, but it's actually going to come from learning to enjoy life and have fun. However, I do take it into note and consideration when looking at people's purpose and career in their astrological birth chart. So by embracing your North Node, whether that's in a house of career or not, you expand your frequency. And if you're looking to make more money off of your career, the best way to do that is by stepping into your North Node so you expand your frequency and the universe rewards you. So the first aspect of understanding your purpose and career astrology is looking at your North Node, because your North Node will tell you how you can expand your frequency to attain more physical wealth, as well as find your sense of purpose and find your career path. Because oftentimes, a bit of our North Node plays out in our career, whether or not it's in the 10th house. For me, for example, I have a North Node in Taurus in 5th house, and I take that to my career by bringing a lot of fun and enjoyment and working with luxurious businesses, small businesses who are in comfort and luxury. Now, it's important for you to understand both the sign and the house your North Node is in, but the house can wait. It's more important first that you understand fully the astrological zodiac sign archetype that your North Node is in. And if you don't feel like you understand the zodiac signs well, check out my YouTube channel, my playlist on sun signs / the astrology signs, where I cover in depth what each of the zodiac signs represent, not only as your sun sign, but in general as archetypes. Or just jump to the full understanding of these zodiac signs by getting my Making Mindfulness Fun bundle in the link in the description below, where I have a workbook on the simple guide to astrology, zodiac signs, and houses, along with 30 other workbooks. And this is all available for only $30. So you get access to 31 workbooks. That's less than $1 per workbook per course as well, in the link in the description below, the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle. So North Node, first part you should understand if you're trying to learn about your astrology, using your astrology to understand your purpose and your career. Secondly, you should understand your Mercury. And the reason for this is you can only do so well in your career if you understand your learning style. And you can only grow in your career if you understand how you like to learn. It also helps to know how you communicate. For example, for me, I have a Mercury in Aries, which means oftentimes in my career, I can be impulsive with my word. I can be a quick learner, but also with that, I jump ship many times and can forget things. I actually just had an experience and a reminder with my Mercury in Aries where I tried to do for weeks 100 different tasks at once, and because of that, I missed a very important meeting and was unable to reschedule it. So my Mercury in Aries played out very much there in my impulse. Your Mercury is the planet of communication and learning. Whatever sign your Mercury is in shows you how you like to learn, how you learn best, and how you communicate back to the world. Understanding this will really show you what kind of career path you should be in. For example, if you have a Mercury in Aries, you should not be in customer service. There's no way you're going to have patience for people, and you're going to rub people the wrong way. So a kind of career for someone like me, a Mercury in Aries, is important that you can be very upfront with people. Hence why I do the work I do now, where I'm on a YouTube channel, and I do have to learn how to speak slower and more eloquently, but I also have the ability to just share the knowledge with you guys. And I don't necessarily get an upfront reaction where I have to be treading softly. So pay attention to the sign your Mercury is in to figure out how you can best learn in your career path you then choose, and also what kind of career you're in. If you have a Mercury maybe in Virgo or a Mercury in Libra, you do better in a customer service personal role. The more of a gentle sign like Libra in a way, or Virgo, you would do better in working with people. And that's where we also get into the house it's in. Once again, it is important to know both the house and the sign that your all of these placements are in, specifically Mercury, so you know what kind of career path you're in. So for me, my Mercury's in my 5th house of play. So I have to do a type of career, once again, where I feel playful, where I get to have fun with it. Hence why, and it's also the house of creativity. Hence why all of my work is about creating content. I'm both an Instagram manager and I do this YouTube channel. All of this is about a daily creation. So pay attention to the house your Mercury is in next. If it's in the 7th house, you're working one-on-one with people. A job stereotypically like working as a marriage counselor could be good for you. Anything where you're in a one-on-one setting. So reflect on, what is the sign my Mercury's in? How does that make me learn best? How do I like to communicate? And what is the house that my Mercury is in? What does this house mean? What kind of jobs work around that kind of area of life? To clarify really quick, the sign that your zodiac sign, rephrase. To clarify, the sign that your planets and points are in shows the energy that you embrace, the personality trait, whereas the house that these planets and signs are in shows you where in life this plays out the most. Third, your Mars. So your North Node's your purpose, really, and it shows you how you can expand your frequency to attain wealth. Your Mercury is how you can communicate your strengths and your purpose to the world, as well as learn to expand your career. Your Mars is how you literally need to be acting in your career. So Mars is the planet of action and is often associated with masculine energy. This is an especially important planetary placement, not only just for women, but also especially for men, because men in their career want to embrace their masculine energy. I was just talking about this the other day, that the age of girl boss is very vital, and every woman wants to feel that they are serving and having a career and they have a purpose. But especially for men, they need that act of service in their life where they are doing something every day in order to feel that they are living their purpose. So Mars energy is very important for men to embrace, even more than women, which I'll get into later as we talk about Venus. But overall, for both sides, people need to embrace their Mars, because Mars is the planet of action, not only masculine energy, but masculine energy therefore implies action. And so paying attention to your Mars sign tells you how you're going to want to act day to day in your job. An example, I have a Mars in Gemini. Gemini is the archetype of talking, learning, and represents high energy, high mental energy specifically. I have to work in a job where I'm either doing something with my hands or talking or learning all the time. Hence why I do a job where I'm either talking to a camera or typing on my phone really fast to post for people. It works for me because my Mars in Gemini seeks to stimulate. And if I'm not having clear tasks where I'm getting to work with my hands or talk, then I'm going to feel overwhelmed. So based on the sign your Mars is in will show you how you want to act. If you have a Mars in Virgo, you'll want a very task-oriented job. You want to be able to be told what to do and do it. If you have a Mars in Cancer, you have to work in very nurturing ways, probably where you're caring for yourself and others. A more nurturing role in your career would be best for you. For someone with a Mars in Aries, you need to have a job where you get to act off of intensity or impulse. Doing a job that is hugely thrilling or allows you to do new things is very important. And the house that your Mars is in also shows you what kind of career structure you need. So in an example for me, to explain best, my Mars is in Gemini in my 6th house. And so that means I have to, on the daily, do my job and do it in service of others, because the 6th house is about service and daily routines. And I have to make sure that my job allows me to take care of myself. So as Gemini energy, I want to create and learn and speak. And I need to do this in a structure that is in my daily schedule, that allows me to take care of myself and also allows me to serve others, which sounds like a natural everyone would have for their career, but for me, it's accentuated. If you have a Mars in 10th house, your career is going to be much more structured around being an authority, You might be more so the kind to be pointing fingers at other people, telling them what to do, not so much doing the work yourself. If you have a Mars in 4th house, you should be working with families. If your Mars is in your 1st house, your career very likely has something to do with your sense of identity, showing who you are with other people. Very much the influencer stereotype. So then 4th, we have Jupiter. And Jupiter has more so to do with your money and your abundance, kind of erring more towards the idea I talked about with North Node. And before I dive into this, actually, reflect on your Mars. Reflect on, what is my Mars in? Reflect on what kind of work does that mean to do? Where does this play out? How does your Mars currently play out for you? How do you channel this energy? And what are kind of careers you could maybe think of that are in alignment with that? So then, Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It shows how we manifest abundance. By embracing Jupiter and knowing Jupiter's placement, we can see how we can manifest more money and success. My Jupiter has been huge for my career life because my Jupiter and my part of fortune, which I will get to later, are in Virgo. And so embracing the mentality for me of how can I serve has made me so much more successful in my career. Not only how can I serve, but sharing in detail-oriented ways. Now let's dive into this even further to understand. So your Jupiter is your planet of expansion. Whatever sign it's in indicates what energy you must embrace in order to expand your capacity to grow as a person, because Jupiter represents self-growth, but it also shows how you can manifest and attract more financial abundance and career success. So the sign it's in, as I just mentioned, for me, it's in Virgo, so I need to be very detail-oriented, as Virgo is, and also service-oriented. However, my Virgo is in my 9th house of foreign people all over the world, as well as philosophy. My 2 jobs. I share in detail-oriented Virgo ways on a YouTube channel where I can impact lots of people around the world about philosophical astrology. Virgo in 9th house Jupiter. Manifests money, brings money in, and expands my career. I also work as an Instagram manager, where I'm giving a practical service in very detailed ways to people around the world, to people in California and everything. 9th house, Virgo, Jupiter. So look at the sign your Jupiter's in. And once again, if you don't understand really the astrological zodiac signs, get the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle and check out my YouTube playlist for more detail. I recommend, even if you watch the YouTube playlist, that you get the bundle so you have a written version of the zodiac signs to reference and ingrain in your brain. Regardless of your Mercury. I could find a reason, I'm sure, for each of them. Some Mercuries will do better with auditory. But understand the house or the sign that your Jupiter's in, and then look at the house, because that's where you should channel this energy. So for me, with my Jupiter in Virgo, I should channel the energies of service and detail to 9th house themes, such as travels and philosophy, and really mainly those 2. Helping people grow. If you have your Jupiter in 4th house, you should focus on embracing whatever energy, zodiac sign it's in families or family life. You could receive financial abundance through your family or through other families. If it's in your 7th house, you should focus on relationships, your relationship, others' one-on-one relationships. Make sure you're nurturing your friendships, because maybe they will bring you money. Not necessarily that you're stealing money from your friends. You could be, but make sure you are nurturing those connections. It all depends on the sign and house it's in. And if you want to understand that more, book or reading. If you want to understand, I mean for your unique chart. Number 5. Let's talk about part of fortune, because it goes hand in hand first, and then we'll talk about the 10th house. So the next aspect of career astrology that I consider very important for career astrology specifically, even though all the chart is important, is your part of fortune. The part of fortune is not a planet. It is a point in your chart that is calculated using your sun, moon, and rising. And depending on whether you have a day or night chart changes how this is calculated. You have a day chart if your sun, maybe big three, I'm pretty sure. You have a day chart if your sun is above the horizon, which is the first house, seventh house axis that goes across, like west and east on your chart. If your sun's above it, you have a day chart. And if it's below, you have a night chart. I have a night chart because if you can picture it, I have my rising in Sagittarius. I guess on here, rising Sagittarius, and my sun is in Aries, which is below, down here. So I have a night chart. The part of fortune is in the name. It is a point in your chart where, when embraced, you can manifest fortune. You can access fortune. My fortune is in Virgo. I knew that, but I had to check. Which is right next to my Jupiter, which means even more embracing the energies of Virgo 9th house is important for me. So your part of fortune, whatever sign it's in, shows you what energies you need to embrace to manifest fortune, and the house it's in is where in life you should embrace this energy. So again, for me, it's in my 9th house. I should focus on philosophy and dealing with foreign people. Not so much my day-to-day environment. Don't ask my neighbors so much. Reach out to foreigners and talk about philosophy. The farther I can reach and the more new places I can reach, the better. And the more I can do it in a detail-oriented, service-oriented Virgo way, the more I will manifest money. I kept that one short because it's very, very, very similar to Jupiter. The thing is with Jupiter, it might be more self-focused. Jupiter oftentimes represents spiritual growth of us. And so the more we can learn based off of our Jupiter to grow, the more we can manifest abundance, whereas part of fortune is very much more task-oriented. Either way, you can manifest abundance embracing these aspects in your chart and focusing on embodying those zodiac archetypes in the specific area of life that house is in. So look at your part of fortune, which is symboled by a circle with an X in it, and ask yourself, how can I embrace this energy? What does this energy really mean? And where in life am I supposed to embrace it? Number 6, the one that everyone talks about. And I saved it for last because it is important, but it also is, I feel like, so fast to cover that it almost, in a way, plays a minor role in your career. But it doesn't. It's important. And that is the 10th house. The 10th house in astrology reflects Capricorn themes, which is about success in career, but it is the literal area of our life of career and recognition. This is the persona we should have in our career. Whereas your rising is what most people see, your 10th house is what you should show to people in your career. So for example, my 10th house, which is, for you guys, it's going to be also known as the midhaven. It's shown as an MC in your chart, the letters MC, and it is an arrow that points generally north. It might be northwest or northeast in your chart, but look for it in your chart. It's an arrow pointing up. Mine is in Virgo, which means I should, in my career, appear very service-oriented, task-oriented, and detail-oriented in my career. The more I can make myself appear like a Virgo to other people, the more successful I will be. And this very much plays out in my chart, and it's especially important because I have other aspects in Virgo as well. So the more I can be precise with my word, and the more I can be detail-oriented in my interpretations with you guys, the more successful I will be. And this is the interesting aspect that happens between astrology. So when you're looking at all these different astrology aspects in your chart for career astrology, you're going to eventually have to think about how they interact with each other and how they may be contradictory. So for example, I have a lot of Virgo energy in my 10th house, and with Jupiter in part of fortune, money will come through being more Virgo. But I also have this pesky little Mercury in Aries that sometimes can be impulsive and get carried away. And while it's part of what will make me great at my career, I need to make sure it stays in balance and make sure I'm still embracing Virgo energies the right amount, or else I will end up being too explosive. And same goes for my Gemini energy. We have to make sure these all stay in balance. So imagine these astrology archetypes as literal people that live within your psyche, or picture them sitting in a room. Imagine a board meeting, and imagine these different parts of you. You're the head of the tasks, which is Mars. Picture that as a, whatever, in my situation, a Gemini, and imagine them all interacting. How are they going to get along? And how are they going to have their different struggles? And how can you keep them in their departments? This is the key to understanding and using astrology for every area of life, but in this sense, specifically for your purpose and career. How can you work everything together, but also keep them in their separate little bubbles? Because yes, you're going to have Gemini energy, but that should be focused on specifically your way of acting. Yes, you'll have Virgo energy, or I have Virgo energy, and that's all about manifesting abundance, but it needs to be just my persona and just how I think and how I focus. Yes, I have a Mercury in Aries, but that needs to be just how I learn and communicate. These can't cross over too much. They should work together, but they shouldn't cross over. They each have their own department. So look at these different energies and ask yourself, starting through like with the North Node, how can I pursue my purpose? How can I, with Mercury, learn and communicate in this way? What job allows me to work based off of my Mars in a certain way? How can I focus on manifesting abundance based off of my Jupiter and part of fortune? And how can I show myself as this persona in my career? So those are the primary ones that I consider for career astrology. However, I do want to make a few more little notes on minor planets that can play out for, that definitely play out in your career. And also specifically touching first on Venus, which plays a role a lot in a woman's career. Because as I mentioned earlier in this video when talking about Mars, it's very important for men to feel like they're in their Mars energy, not only in their relationship, but in their career. If they feel like they are not getting to use their Mars energy on the daily, they're going to feel like they're emasculated. And the same thing inversely applies for women. If you are not embracing your Venus energy on the daily, maybe even specifically in your career, you're going to feel frustrated. And it is important, if you want to be a girl boss, if that's your thing, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, either way, you need your Venus energy. And in the end, we all want to make money off of our career. And so for women, Venus is very important because you want to be in energetic alignment, not only a little with your Mars, but primarily with your Venus, because women are meant to be primarily in their feminine energy. Yes, they will have masculine. Everyone has masculine and feminine energy, but women specifically are meant to be in their Venus, and this is especially true if your North Node is in the same sign as your Venus is. That's the same for me, and so I'm sharing my own experience here. This is what I've found for astrology. And again, astrology is subjective. If you disagree with it, if you have a different interpretation, that's awesome, as long as you're happy. This is my interpretation I've found for using career astrology for career. So for women, look at the sign your Venus is in. And I just did a video covering your divine feminine archetype based on astrology, and this covers your Venus sign. Look into that after this video so you can understand what it means to have your Venus in a certain sign. So for me, my Venus is in Taurus, and I know that in order for me to manifest abundance and have a career that I love, I need to have time or space in my life to embrace my Taurus energy in love and with myself. My love for life. Venus is the planet of feminine energy, beauty, love, which is stereotypically love relationships, but also our love for life. And so for me with it in Taurus, not only does it mean in love I want commitment and the finer things and comfort, but it also means in my daily life and in my career I have to have space for comfort, luxury, enjoying the finer things. And I found for me specifically that embracing my Venus partially, or embracing Venus themes somehow in my career has been beneficial. Like I said earlier, because it's the same sign as my North Node, I work best with people in my career who are focused on luxurious products. I work with salons. I work with people who have to do with indulgence and comfort and making the home feel comfortable. I work with cleaning companies, etc. And I film beautiful places. It's all about the beauty for me, the senses, making things that look nice. And that has a lot to do with Venus and Taurus energy. So if you're a woman, look at your Venus in Taurus, or look at your Venus, find the sign it's in, and see how that could potentially be embraced in your career, or how you can have a career that makes space for that. So that's really important for career. Your moon sign is basically going to try to hijack your career if it's unfulfilled. So pay attention to what sign your moon is in every now and then to make sure that you have space in your life for that. However, the moon doesn't play a super huge role in your career unless it's in your 10th house. If any of your planets are in your 10th house, they're going to play a role in your career, even if they're in a different sign than your 10th house itself is in. So then there's also the sun, and the sun could play a role in the career, but it may be more likely is going to be an ego defense when you feel threatened in your career or when you feel threatened in life. So don't let your ego self get ahead of you. And if it's in your 10th house, then that's going to be something vital to your career. Those are really the primary aspects of using your astrology to manifest a career. And this information can be applied to those who are wanting to fit into a role that already exists or create a business of their own. Either way, look at it and ask yourself, get creative. How can I use this information to live in alignment with purpose and enjoy life? In the end, this is what astrology serves. It helps us live a life that feels purposeful and high vibration and enjoyable. So use this information and let me know if it helps you in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to book a 1-hour reading with me. If you're ready to use this information and hear my unique interpretation of how you can find your ideal career, to find a sense of purpose, to build a career you love, whether that's in a system or building your own business, book a reading and we can dive into this as well as other things in your chart deeply and give you the solutions and wisdom that you are looking for. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments below what you want to hear about next, and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars. Once again, my name's Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.